Hey everyone, so it's Hearth and welcome back to my channel, and today I am going to be giving my reaction to Buzzfeeds' We Practiced Magic with a Real Witch. I don't typically do reaction videos on this channel. It's just not really my thing. I tend to stick to the educational content, but if you're new here, hello, my name is Hearth, and I've been a practicing witch for the past 15 years. And I want to spread as much positive information on the subject as I absolutely can. And a lot of my subscribers did request that I start doing these reaction videos to the YouTube channels and the YouTube videos that kind of try to very quickly spread information about witchcraft. So that is what I am doing today. I do want to say before we get started that I am in no way intending to bring harm on the people in the video or the people that created the video, not at all. I simply want to give my kind of first-hand reaction to these videos and to the type of content, and they aren't going to be all negative. My job here is not to shit on the video or the creator or anything. It's instead just to bring either constructive criticism or praise to the people that did these videos, because as much as I sometimes dislike the mainstreamization of this topic, it does bring a lot of new people to it that maybe had never heard of it before they watched a BuzzFeed video, you know? So my job is not to shit on the channel, it's not to shit on the creators, it's not to do anything like that. I just want to share my personal opinion on the subject. And also, just before we get started, I want to say a massive shout out to Harmony Nice, because as far as I'm aware, she's one of the only creators within the witchcraft community that has done this style of commentary video, and she inspired me and she inspired some of my subscribers to recommend me to do this video. So massive shout out to you, girl. I've never spoken to her in real life. I think I would probably die if I ever did, but she is such an amazing creator, and credit is given where credit is due. And thank you, Harmony, for giving me the idea of doing this style of video. Okay, let's get into it. I'm gonna move to the side so that I can put the camera right around here, and let's get into the video. Now, I will say that I have seen this video once. This has actually been out for a really long time now. It was released in September 2017, and that's when I watched this video. I know I'm really far behind, but let's get into the video.
Oh, it's about to get real magical.
Okay. So first thing off the bat, the title is a little bit deceptive. I was really expecting it to be, I don't know what I was expecting because I've not seen this in so long. I was really expecting it to be a witchcraft video because the title is We Practice Magic with a Real Witch. But no, it's a Wiccan video, which is completely fine. I'm just gonna have to remember to put on my Wiccan hat. I have followed the Wiccan religion. I was following it for many years. I don't follow it at the moment, but I have. So I've got to remember, Wiccan hat on. Otherwise, I might say stuff and nitpick about stuff that isn't actually accurate because this is about the Wiccan religion. I like the music.
Today we're going to learn about Wicca and participate in a Wiccan ritual that'll hopefully give us more success in our careers.
Okay, we have a little information sheet. Let's have a look. A religion influenced by pre-Christian beliefs and practices of Western Europe that affirms the existence of supernatural power. Oh, okay. So I really like how they've done this. They've made it so that it's a super quick rundown of what Wicca is without having like 15 minutes of someone talking about it. So I approve. I like it. I really like this music. I don't know what it is.
I don't know anything.
rings.
I know about like pointy hats, cauldrons. I don't think any of that's real. It could very well be.
Okay, so straight off the bat, I have a gut feeling here that they are going to lump together Wicca and witchcraft. So for anyone that doesn't know what the differences are, if there even are any, they are two very different things. So witchcraft is a craft, it's a practice, it's something that you learn, and by itself it has no religion attached to it. You can work with a religion and witchcraft, or you can be non-religious and follow witchcraft. So there's no religion attached to it. Wicca is a religion in its own right. It has its own beliefs, it has its own practices, and although you can be Wiccan and a witch, and you can be a witch and Wiccan, they are not the same thing. So the pointy hats and the cauldrons, they're often very stereotypical of witchcraft, and the fact that they're referring to everything as witchcraft, even though they're going into a Wiccan ritual, makes me think that they've combined the two, which is a real shame because you would think, especially big companies like Buzzfeed, you would hope that they would have the manpower and the editorial power behind it to do more research into it and to realize that they are different. But there we go, that's just my 2 cents on it. I'm a bit worried that they're gonna combine the two, but we will have to see.
Before the ritual, we wanted to get some background information on Wicca, so we traveled to the Green Man in North Hollywood to talk to an
Ooh, that's a
expert.
beautiful store. Me liked.
Scared
We
me.
scared everybody.
Hi.
Wow, hello.
Guys, Sarah, nice to meet you.
Hey, I'm Lori.
Hello, I'm Curly.
Hi, Curly.
Nice to meet you. Pleasure.
You too.
Where are we currently?
Well, this magical place is the Green Man store. It's in North Hollywood, California.
Okay, I thought it was. So the Green Man in California is probably one of the most well-known witchcraft shops around, mainly because every single video they go to this store. I don't think I've seen a single witchcraft video that's based in America that's like, I studied witchcraft with it, you know, that kind of content. They always go to this one store, which is fine. Like, not nitpicking about that. It's great that they're going and they're talking to actual practitioners in an actual location where people know what they're talking about, but it would be nice if they got information from more than one source. So the issue is that when every single person in LA does a video about witchcraft and they talk to the same people, often these videos, I mean, a Buzzfeed video gets like more views than I will ever get in my entire life on YouTube in one video. Having such a singular source of information can cause a bit of problem. So every single magical practitioner is going to include in a little bit of their own beliefs. And when they are spreading those beliefs as a fact for everyone, that's when it becomes a little bit tricky. And that's why when I say if you're going to study from a mentor, make sure that you have other sources as well, because they are going to teach it with their beliefs attached onto it. And then you end up believing what they believe, even though you've got nothing outside of that to have like an outside perspective. So I just wish, sometimes I wish, they would go to another location as well as this location to kind of get a more varied opinion on the practices and the undertaking of it. That just comes from the idea that just having one source isn't a good idea. They might, for all I know, have a huge number of sources, but they're only showing one in the video. So completely open-minded about that, but sometimes I wish they'd go to a different shop. Please, at some point. Okay, I like how they're doing this, the little
1950s.
sections.
Okay, Gerald Gardner in England had his Wiccan tradition, so Wicca. 50s and 60s, it started to come into the United States.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. Okay, so a very brief history, as they've mentioned, is exceptionally brief and does contain some misinformation. So in the late 1930s, Gerald Gardner joined a coven in his local area. He was, at the end of the 1930s, allowed to release a book that discussed the magical topics that happened within the coven in a fantasy book. The book is called High Magic's Aid. I have it on my bookshelf over there. It's a really interesting read. And then in the 1950s, he spent a lot of time talking about the Wiccan religion to media, on television shows, trying to spread the information about it. And at that point, it did kind of spread worldwide, and we started to see it go everywhere. But this screen right here, magic from Europe, yeah, that's not really accurate. So it says at the bottom, actually sort of totally ancient. Yes, but how many people, I mean, for the amount of time,
Paganism.
that is on the screen for about 3 seconds. So the amount of time
50s and 60s, it started to come into the United States.
that is actually going to be on screen for. People aren't going to read that little section at the bottom that goes, actually sort of totally ancient. They're not going to read that. They're going to read magic, new from Europe. And that then connects the idea that Wicca is magic, and that anything outside of Wicca, that isn't magic. And that's not really true. Wicca, if you actually read through a lot of the information about it and you read the original books that they created around their tradition, a lot of it is taken from other cultures, other magical practices that came way, way before Wicca. I mean, Wicca is one of the newest religions in the entire world, and they actually borrowed a lot of their magical traditions from pre-existing cultures. Now, say whatever you want about that. I personally am not that fussed about it. It's created a wonderful magical tradition out of it and a wonderful religion out of it. But magic isn't Wicca and Wicca isn't magic. They aren't one and the same. Magic is found in almost every single culture around the world. So I don't really like how they've done that. It's a little bit misleading because that little bit at the bottom that's like actually sort of totally ancient is literally on the screen for like 3 seconds, and most people are not going to read it. They're going to read the big thing in the middle of the screen, but that is me probably just majorly nitpicking.
Paganism it's become an umbrella term,
Okay,
and
that's true.
Wicca has also become an umbrella
extent,
term.
yeah,
And
I
in the
agree,
past
I agree.
few decades, you have the Dianics, you have earth-based spirituality, you have the reclaiming tradition.
Wiccans believe in the existence of magic, and that by practicing magic through rites, spells, and potions, they can affect change. Many Wiccans live by an ethical code.
Okay, so I'm not going to be able to speak for all Wiccans, of course, obviously not, I don't plan to. But the way they've listed this out makes it seem, anyway, as though spells, like utilizing magic to affect physical change, is like the top of the list when it comes to Wicca. And for the majority of people, it's not. So Wicca is first and foremost a religion. They follow a bunch of different Wiccans follow different beliefs, but mostly it is the worship of a masculine and feminine archetype that does vary per person. Sometimes it is just male and female archetypes. Sometimes it is the moon goddess and the horned god. Sometimes it is a specific god and goddess of the Wiccan or coven's choice. In a lot of covens, they're oath-bound, so they have names, but outside of the coven, they are just known as the god and the goddess. They then follow, in some cases, the Wiccan Rede, and then after that, some might choose to include active spell work beyond what is just found in traditional rituals. So it's a bit nitpicky, I know. It puts magic and witchcraft at the top of the list of what Wiccans do, when it isn't the top of the list. Yes, you can do it, and yes, lots of Wiccans do, but it's not typically put at the very top of the list, because it's a religion before a practice, first and foremost. At least for a lot of people. Please don't shit on me for this. I can only express from the Wiccans that I know and the Wiccan religion aspect that I personally followed. That's all I can speak on.
Called the Wiccan Rede, that states, "And it harm none, do what ye will." Many are pan or polytheistic and recognize the goddess and god among
Well, I
many
like
other
how they've
deities.
added that in.
Wiccans with shared beliefs form covens with whom they practice. Beliefs, practices, and structure can vary drastically across covens.
Okay, I like that.
Every candle has a different color, and you've got two-tone candles.
Yeah, what are
you've got
these
Okay,
cat
so
stone?
I really like how they're doing this. It's a very light-hearted way of doing it, which I can really appreciate. I know it's super difficult to be like really intense and informative in a 10-minute long video, but immediately I can tell that this is set in America, because the majority of what they're talking about actually comes from other traditions. So you actually don't often find figural candles in traditional Wicca anyway. I follow traditional British Wicca. You don't typically find figural candles like they're showing with the cats and the human figures and the 7-day candles, like the 7 knob candles. You don't often see the reversing candles. They are primarily found within North American folk magic, whether that's Appalachian magic, whether that's hoodoo. You primarily find that style of association-based workings, like representational work within the folk magics of North America. It's not something you often find in traditional Wicca, as seen within Europe. It's really quite unusual to find these items. So you can definitely see the very personal influence of the people that work in the store, because obviously they are from America, so they're going to include the things that you find more readily within American traditions within their Wiccan practice, whereas traditional Wicca, you don't really find this kind of figural representation in spell work and in ritual work, because it doesn't really exist that much within Europe compared to how it exists in the States.
Here.
Two-toned ones.
Well, this is what you are, absorbing, or you're releasing, and then this is what you're bringing in.
There's also some,
Phallic candle.
there's some phallic
As
candles
expected.
as well. I didn't see those at first.
Always.
What would you use a
phallic
penis candle
candle
for? We're just gonna
is.
ask.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of work, and I watch too much television to have time to do this.
That's what I feel like too. I got a crystal, and then I also got an incense burner.
Okay, so that is the immediate response of most people of, it seems like too much work, so I'm not going to bother. And that's kind of, I was a little bit kind of worried about it in the video, but they definitely seem like they're confusing witchcraft and Wicca enormously. So if you are a Wiccan, that is your belief, that is your religion. So much like you wouldn't say, oh, Christianity, that seems like too much effort. Like, I mean, some people might say that, but if it's your religion, it's your belief system. It's not something you add on, it's something you are. And from an outsider's perspective, that might seem kind of strange, but when it comes to religion in particular, it isn't just like an add-on that you bring into your life for 2 days and then you get rid of it again. Like, it is the core of your beliefs that is put into a titled religion. When it comes to witchcraft, people do it again. They're very much, oh, that seems like too much work, I'm not going to bother. But witchcraft is very much, it's almost akin to a lifestyle. If you are a witch, you are a witch. Like, you know what you need to do when you need to do it. You're willing to put the work in, because you're not going to get anything out of it if you're not willing to put energy in. If you're not willing to exert energy, energetically, magically, emotionally into that working, you are not going to see anything out of it.
I'm excited tomorrow to like actually see what happens, because we're gonna be doing
Yes,
some
alrighty.
work.
So I'm gonna put my cross away.
I'll hide my giant Jesus tattoo on my back.
See, that's another thing right there that kind of irks me, is that I don't understand people's mindset of this. I don't understand how people feel as though they have to hide their own religion if they're being around people of a different religion. Like, you shouldn't feel the need to hide your cross. I mean, if you're undertaking witchcraft, there are lots of Christians out there that undertake witchcraft. There are Christian witches. And a lot of the North American folk magic actually includes Catholicism inside the practice. So that is very stereotypical to me. I know this is a very vlog style, so it's just kind of their opinion on the subject, but if you're out there, you don't need to feel as though you have to hide your religion to experience someone else's. Like, I am quite happy to go into a church and not hide my pentacle. Like, there might be people in there that don't like it, but I don't see why I should have to hide my religion to appreciate someone else's. Same instance in this. I know it's just a vlog style and it's just casual, but I just feel like I need to put it in because a lot of people do feel like that. They feel as though they have to hide who they are to go in and experience someone else's life. But you definitely don't have to. Don't be afraid to show who you are, to wear your crosses, to wear your pentacles, whatever it might be. You know, self-expression of your religion and your beliefs is really important, and especially when it comes to witchcraft in particular, it's actually a really open practice. It's not as scary as what people think it is. It's mainly just fear-mongering that makes it feel scary to people that are outside of it. And in this instance, I mean, they don't need to be worried about it, because a lot of the folk magics in America, they do include Catholicism inside the magical practice.
Today we are participating in a Wiccan ceremony or ritual that is hopefully going to lead to some career success.
I'm just hoping that I have a little bit more money in my wallet by the end of the day.
So that is the other downside when going into these kind of videos, is that a lot of the time they expect to get something for nothing. Magic isn't click your fingers and something miraculous will happen. That's not how it works. It doesn't matter whether it's secular, so non-religious, or as part of a faith like Wicca. It doesn't matter who's practicing it, you are not going to blow out a candle on a spell for $1 million and have $1 million come flying through your letterbox like Harry Potter. Like, it's not going to work. You can go into a ritual and you can undertake the working, and it can take weeks, it can take months for that working to manifest, depending on what you are specifically petitioning for. So I think going into it expecting that at the end of the day you're magically going to have more money than you started off with is a little close-minded, because it then leads you up to the idea of, oh, nothing instantly happened, therefore it's not real. Whereas what it should be is, I'm going to see, I'm going to wait and I'm going to see. But often they don't wait and they don't see, because they go, nah, well, this is all nonsense, because the false perception that they built up in their minds didn't manifest. But let's see, I'm going into this.
Expect that quick a turnaround?
Yeah, I believe in miracles.
What are some of the most common misconceptions?
Let's see, the biggest one I think is that we worship the devil. There are witches who do.
Yes.
But in Wicca, the Christian devil isn't even recognized as an existing entity per se.
I appreciate this. this person, they're amazing. I really like them. I appreciate them very much. It is one of the most asked questions I ever get is, if I practice witchcraft, do I have to worship the devil? It's like, well, no. Do you believe in the devil? Most of us don't believe in the devil. So I think that's something that we get asked a lot, and actually agreed, within the Wiccan religion, the devil isn't even a being that is followed, believed in. There's no existence of it within the Wiccan religion. So no, you definitely don't have to. But that is probably one of the biggest things I get asked almost every day is, do you worship the devil? Do I have to worship the devil? What do you think of the devil? I'm like, I don't even think of the devil. Not even something that I perceive in my personal beliefs. That's not invalidating anyone else's, it's just personally, to me, that spiritual being doesn't exist within my personal belief system. Therefore, I'm not going to worship something that I don't believe in.
Are we now, after the ceremony, close to being witches?
You've now had experience, but a lot of traditions, it'll be like a year and a day studying.
Oh, I'm gonna get to work.
Oh, advert. No, I really appreciate the way that this individual is going about talking about it, because it isn't a, yes, you'll be a witch at the end of this. It's actually very much saying, no, but you are a little bit more experienced than you were before, and I do really appreciate that. A lot of the times in these videos, they're like, yes, you're a witch now. And it's like, no, I mean, if you want to continue studying and practicing, then yeah, call yourself whatever you want, but you can't just do one ritual on one day and then call yourself a witch forever. Like, it's a bit iffy about that one. So I really appreciate how they've gone about this, especially this particular individual. I really like how they're going about this.
We'd start with a grounding to make sure that you're all centered before we start. Visualize roots growing from the base of your spine, down your legs, out your feet, down to the earth's underground rivers with its now visualize. We'll do a cleansing of the space and creating sacred space. What's called calling on the quarters, which would be the north, south, east, and west, and bringing in those particular energies to kind of help hold down our circle, so to speak. And then I'll do what's called casting the circle. And casting the circle is creating an energetic barrier. We'll raise a cone of power.
I like how they've done this. It's not the way I have personally done it. I personally do it the other way around. So I would cast the circle and then call in the quarters. But I like seeing how other people do this, and this is a really great way of doing it. So although I nitpick about a lot of the little things, the people in this that are experienced, and I really, really like that.
We'll call in the Lord and the Lady. Great Goddess, Mighty Mother, and then we'll start on the work.
Element of earth, I ask you for.
What was cool is that you can participate in a way that
You don't
might not
normally
be
get
able
to
Yeah.
in other religions.
yeah.
Element of air, I ask for.
No, I do really like that. I like the fact they've included that, because it's something that a lot of people that I've spoken to didn't really realize before. They're so used to the very strict religions of listen to the person in power above you that they don't actually incorporate it into their life in the same way as you do within Wicca. So a lot of these very hierarchical based religions, you are not the one that is in contact with the higher power, it is the people above you. So in the end, you end up following the wishes of people that you don't even know if they're in contact with what they're claiming to be in contact with. So within Wicca, a lot of people don't realize it until they actually look into it, that you are the person doing the working. You are the person interacting with the deities. You are the person that's participating. You're not just witnessing or the people participate, you are participating. And I think that's what is really so nice and open about the Wiccan religion. I think it's what a lot of people are really attracted to.
And then we're gonna have cakes and ale, or actually mini cinnamon buns and Martinelli's. And then we will do everything in reverse.
That though, that is so true. You go to Wiccan ceremonies and at the end they're like, who wants mead? And you're like, yes. Well, I didn't say yes, but everyone else said yes. And it's basically just like you get together and you do the working and you put the effort in, and then at the end it's like, who wants mead? Cake? Anyone? Come on, cake? I really like that. It's something people are like, no, that doesn't happen, and you're there like, no, yeah, Really, it does.
People thinking that there's something going on, whether it be like satanic or like evil, that's like a really common misconception. And I think it's definitely just more about your own energy.
It
really,
felt
like-
great. It actually felt like just an
Yeah, no, that's really, really true. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of people believe that Satan and the devil is somehow involved in all of this. But when you actually sit in on a ritual, whether that's a witchcraft ritual or whether that's a Wiccan ritual, it's very much more about drawing your energy from the earth, from spirits, from ancestors, from yourself, than it is about working with any kind of malevolent thing that's going on here. And a lot of people don't really understand that until you get into it, so I really like the fact that they've mentioned that.
nice
Positive.
ceremony that we were just sharing with friends. And you get like a fun snack at the end.
Yes. So that was that video. I have to say I'm a little disappointed with how much they confused Wicca and witchcraft together, because they very much just like mushed them together in the middle. But that one wasn't half bad, honestly, it really wasn't. There are lots worse videos that I have seen in the past, so that was actually alright. I didn't mind that one at all. So pros to BuzzFeed, I think you did that really, really tastefully. Of course, I'm always gonna nitpick things because it's me. I nitpick everything, but I do think that's a really good thing. I know that there were quite a lot of dislikes, like a lot of dislikes, but there was a lot more likes, and I'm gonna have to read through some of the comments to see why people dislike the video, but to me anyway, it's not the most tasteful thing I've ever seen in my entire life, but it was a hell of a lot more tasteful than most other videos I've seen. And actually, at the end of it, they took out of it what they needed to take out of it, you know. Some videos, it's very much oh, it didn't work because I didn't have $1 million rain on me during the ceremony, you know. So I really liked the fact that they were very open to it, and I can thoroughly appreciate that. So thank you guys so much for watching. It really, really means so much to me. If you enjoy this content or want me to check out other videos, please put them down in the comment section. I would absolutely love to know. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to give it a like. It really, really means so much to me. Any questions, comments, concerns, video ideas, or just want to chit chat with the community, down in the comment section, feel free to post a comment. And if you do enjoy the magical content on this channel or in this video, feel free to hit subscribe. I do post magical content every Wednesday and every Saturday at 6 p.m. So I hope you guys have a marvelous magical day. A massive shout out to BuzzFeed, and also I'll link this video, the BuzzFeed video, so that you guys can go and watch the full video for yourself. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a marvelous magical day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!